Welcome back. Joining me now in the studio is Brent Christopher, and he is from the Gananoque Playhouse. He's actually the managing artistic director there. Welcome to the program. Nice to see you in the studio.
Thank you. It's so nice to be here.
It's nice to be able to talk to people face to face.
Exactly.
Instead of through Zoom and everything
with a lag
else.
and all of that nonsense.
Yeah. So tell us about the Playhouse now. Throughout COVID, that's becoming a horrible word.
Let's say we're in the waning days. We're in the waning days of COVID.
But I want to go before that, though, because, I mean, you people at the Playhouse, you continued on.
Yeah, I think, we were talking about it the other day in the building, and we were saying we have changed as an organization. I think, like, in the midst of all of this, we weren't able to make our season in 2020 and are sort of just limping along in 2021. We're doing 4 shows instead of 8, 4 small shows. But I think in the middle of all of this, we realized that we had changed from, not to use too much business terminology, but like a product-based organization, one that's really focused on, we make 8 plays, we sell, X number of tickets, they all come, we create an experience. We went from being a product-based organization to really a values-based organization, and really about like, what's our responsibility as a charitable organization, but as an arts organization, and just one of the biggest businesses in Gananoque and in the region, what's our responsibility at this time?
Yes.
To our community. And it was really, in a way, we just kind of followed that impulse through the pandemic.
Yes, and I mean, look what you've been able to accomplish by doing that.
Yeah, a lot of people have said we pivoted and now we're going back, and I think to some degree we have transformed as an organization.
I agree. I think that the capability, what the capabilities are now as opposed to pre-COVID.
Yeah.
And you're able to fit the product into where it needs to go.
Yeah, and I think, our goal is to return to doing a full slate of shows and big musicals and really and continuing to build theater in this region. But I think there's a whole second part of the company that has arisen, which is our community relationships and partnerships and our responsibility to the people here to not just to make plays, but not just about the people that are coming to the theater, but also just the people in the community that maybe don't come to the theater, and that's okay too. What is our relationship to those people as well?
Yes, and I mean they actually Gananoque and surrounding areas, they embraced what you were doing. So I mean the community definitely showed you their support.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun.
Okay, well now we're going to have more fun because we're going to be talking about what you have that is happening, as well as you are actually welcoming people into the theater.
Yes, we are one of the only companies in the country that actually has audiences inside our building. Everything's shuttered and has been shuttered in terms of performing arts venues. Brockville Arts Center, the Grand Theater in Kingston, all these companies have closed down because of, not just obviously COVID and financial reasons and a million other reasons. But we have figured out some method to be able to get 50 people a night to come and see our performances. And so, like I said, one of the only companies that are actually making productions right now. We have a 4-show season. That's it, just 4 little shows, 50 people a night, but we have been sold out every single performance thus far.
Okay, now 50 people a night.
Yeah.
Is there an option to that? Is it either being able to be in a seat and or?
Yes.
Good question. It's either or.
It's hybrid.
Yes.
So we'll have sort of 26 to 27 performances per production, and in addition to that, we are live streaming 4 performances over the course of each run. So people, if they don't feel safe, or if they can't get a ticket, or if they're not in the region, like we've had people in a variety of countries now accessing our plays that obviously wouldn't normally be able to come and see a show at the Playhouse. So it's been really exciting to just build new audiences and even just to provide access to people that aren't yet ready to go into a building.
Can we talk about the plays, please?
Yes, let's do it.
All right, okay. So what is playing now, please?
Friday night is the opening of a play called Serving Elizabeth by playwright Marcia Johnson. It actually was commissioned by the Thousand Islands Playhouse. In 2017, it was to have its premiere performance, premiere production in 2020, which was postponed, canceled. And in the meantime, Stratford called us and said, would it be okay if we actually took this script and mounted it in our season this year? So they actually mounted it last month, and now we're having the second production at the Playhouse. And it is, what is it? If you've seen the TV show The Crown,
Yes.
then you will dig this, because it really is looking at the making of a TV series, especially about historical facts, and whether or not, who is interpreting those facts and who is telling the story. And now as we watch that series, we feel like that is the truth, right? That is the way that Diana acted. That is the way that Camilla Parker Bowles related to Charles, et cetera, et cetera. So this actually looks at, I think it's one of the earliest episodes of the first season, which is set in Kenya. It's when Princess Elizabeth finds out that her father has passed away.
Yes.
And Marcia Johnson, who's the playwright, watched that episode and said, wow, for an episode that is set in Kenya, there's not a single Black person that has a line in that entire episode. And then went sort of dug into that and built a play around that moment in history in the 50s, and also the making of a TV show of that moment.
Yes.
It was a really exciting and interesting and funny play. And again, it opens on Friday and runs through the rest of October.
So November.
November.
What's happening in November?
November is Miss Caledonia. So this play was actually supposed to take place in July. And because of COVID, we were unable to produce it in July. So I actually leapfrogged it into November. Normally, by October, we're done. But we thought, why not? We've got the building. It's heated. Let's just keep going. And in fact, find out whether there's a theater-going audience in November. So Miss Caledonia, written by Melody Johnson, is a one-woman show about, again, set in the 50s. We're really 50s oriented this year. We really want to go back to a simpler time, especially during COVID. It's set in the 50s. It's set in southwestern Ontario. It's about a woman, in fact, Melody's mother. It's her actual story of trying to get to Hollywood through beauty pageants. There were so many beauty pageants at that time in the region. So Miss Caledonia is the contest that she is vying for. It's very funny. It's really about rural life and very relatable, certainly in this region.
Tell us about cost and how people can book.
Well, the tickets are available on the website, thousandislandsplayhouse.com, 1000 like the number.
Yes.
And or they can call through our box office. Our box office is actually closed for 4 days because we're turning over everything. Because of COVID, we took the time to rebuild the box office so that it's much more user-friendly through the internet. But starting on Friday, again, it'll all be back, and they can call or they can use the website and book. Now, I have to say, again, because it's only 50 seats, we have sold out every performance thus far, including the performances of Serving Elizabeth up to October 26th.
Okay.
So there are very few tickets left for that show. So if people should get on the phone on
Now.
Friday morning.
Now.
And then Miss Caledonia, there are a few more tickets left. So there are some tickets available, but not many.
Not many.
Yeah.
So do it now.
Yes.
Don't wait.
Yeah.
What is the Young Company?
That's a great question. So the Young Company is a touring show that goes to schools all over the region, usually between 70 and 100 schools.
Okay.
Normally it's in April.
Yes.
It's the 27th year this year.
Oh.
But in fact, because we can't tour to schools, we're actually going to transmit the production from the Springer Theatre, from the stage of our main theatre, directly into classrooms. So we're using all that same technology that we're using to live stream the shows to actually live stream performances into classrooms. And it's interactive. So we will be actually interacting with the kids through this technology, which is really fun. And saying hi to so-and-so, and they can ask questions that will be transmitted into the production. They can answer the questions in real time. And that play is, again, it was a commissioned play called How to Code a Sandcastle. And it's about a young woman who builds a robot and then uses that robot to try and make the world's best sandcastle. It's an adaptation of a really wonderful children's book by Josh Funk.
Good. Yeah. Glad to hear that. And I'm glad to hear that the schools, the students are involved here as well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's, again, one thing that we learned during COVID is that we could really increase the relationship we have to education and to schools in the region. And we did a ton of work, especially with high schools, because they were so desperate for stuff. They were teaching kids for 8 hours a day, one course, that sort of thing, through these octomesters and quadmesters, that we wanted to find ways that we could link actors and artists to high school classes. So we did a ton of workshops, all virtually, and it was really successful. We hope to continue it.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. And to continue, I'm even more so because it's needed. It's out there. They're hungry for it. They want it. Is there anything else that you want to tell our viewers about the Thousand Islands?
Well, I mean, I will say that again, as I said, the waning days of COVID, my goal is to, in 2022, be back to a full slate of shows, musicals, comedies, thoughtful pieces, to have both theaters back up and running. Right now, we're only in one of the two.
Yes.
So next week, I have not told anybody this, so it's actually a little bit of a sneak peek, a little spoiler alert.
Okay.
Next week, we will be announcing an 8-show season in both theaters.
Really?
Yeah, a full return in 2022. And cross our fingers that COVID is gone and we will just soldier on and get back to what it is that we love to do, making plays on the water.
This is wonderful. This is great.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on that, and we'll look forward to it.
Thank you.
Okay, and thank you for coming in today.
My pleasure.
And
Thanks
sitting
for having
down
me.
with us. I think it's great, and I think this is something that people really want to go out to. They want to go to theater. They want to be out.
Yeah.
Either go to dinner, then go to a show, and just enjoy themselves.
Yes, get back to normalcy.
Yes, whatever that is. So wonderful.